These audio files are for people that have already downloaded and completed the tasks within the ebooks. If we go to chart 1.1, the correct line would be line B because it uses all of the candles, especially the candle wicks at the bottom. You should always consider all of the price action, not just the bodies of the candles when drawing trend lines. If we look at chart 2.2, the correct horizontal trend line is line A. Now, if we look at line B, there is only one real point where the market bounced off of line B. The rest of the time, the market didn't really respect it as a trend line, so we would disregard that line. That is not a correct trend line. Line C, now we have a very obvious bounce from line C. However, there is only one reference point on line C. The market is currently at line C, so if the market was to bounce at this point, we could use that to draw a trend line across. However, the market could go lower, so we cannot assume that that's going to be a buy line. Line A is a valid trend line. You can see the market has bounced from it quite a few times. So when the market gets back to that line, it is a valid sell line until the market gets back above it. Then it will become a buy line again. But line A is your valid trend line. Okay, so chart 1.3 was a bit of a tricky one. What we would say with this is there potentially isn't really wrong and right answers. What matters is why you selected your answers the way you did. We have the following answers to give you. Number 1 would be C, 2, B, 3, A, 4, E, and finally 5 as D. The reason why we put line C in first position is because if you look, line C was recently formed, and also the reaction when line C is tested, you get quite a nice bounce away from line C, whereas line B has had more tests of it, but you don't get the same reaction. You sort of get a little bounce away from line B, but line C is the most potent because you are getting a good reaction away from line C. In third place, we have line A. The reason why this is in third place and not fourth or fifth is because of the recency. This line was formed a lot more recent than line E or D. Now, with line A, you could have put it maybe second place, and if you did, you're potentially not wrong. It's the reasons behind why you put the lines in what orders you put them in. But the most recently tested lines are often the most important. However, with line E, you are still looking for the market's reaction, and the more length of time that the market spends at a line, the more important it becomes. And with line E, there was quite a bit of time spent trying to get above it, so that is quite an important line. The only reason why that's not higher up the list is the other lines were formed a lot more recent. With line D, arguably this isn't even a trend line. Maybe you could say the market stopped at it, trying to get above it, and maybe a little back test on the way up. But other than that, it's not really a valid trend line. And on chart 1.4, you was tasked with drawing 2 horizontal bylines. The first line can be drawn if you look at the single candle that we've circled. The base of that wick, if you use that to draw across the page, then you will notice that that is a confirmed horizontal trend line. The second one, which is we've circled a group of candles. If you connect most of the lows so that they are in line with the low of the candle that we have used to highlight with an arrow, then you will see as well that that line is pretty much being respected by the market. So that is how to draw the 2 horizontal trend lines on that page.